What's going on, everyone? I am just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about a video called We Are Canadian. So, this is something that a lot of you guys out there have recommended that I take a look at. A ton of Canadians have left comments and messages saying, I need to watch this video. So I have heard you. Thank you for the recommendation. I'm actually very excited to take a look at this because it's funny. A while ago, I first reacted in a different video to a series of Molson Canadian beer commercials. And within that Molson beer campaign was a specific commercial called I Am Canadian. And to be honest, most Americans would never, ever understand this reference. I had never heard of this until I watched the ad on YouTube for the first time. So luckily, I do understand what this is all about. I have seen this. Just to take a quick look here and refresh all of our memories, it's this commercial where this guy, Joe, is like, excuse me, I don't live in igloos and say a boot, but I do love beavers. And if I remember correctly.
Hey, I'm not a lumberjack or a fur trader, and I don't live in an igloo or eat blubber or own a dog sled. And I don't know Jimmy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, although I'm certain they're really, really nice. I have a prime minister, not a president.
Right.
I speak English and French, not American, and I pronounce it about, not a boot. I can proudly say my country's flag on my backpack. I believe in peacekeeping, not policing. Diversity, not assimilation, and that the beaver is a truly proud and noble animal.
Yeah.
Is a hat.
Yeah.
Chesterfield is a coach, and it is pronounced Zed, not Zed.
All right, that's where I draw the line. Zed. What is this Zed? Okay, I'll stop. But yeah, it's this really passionate Canadian man getting up on stage and basically being like, these are the misconceptions about Canada, which, funny enough, most Americans believe a lot of these stereotypes, really. And he's clearing that up. He's also talking about what it really means to live in Canada and be Canadian. And he's just a passionate, awesome guy.
Canada is the second largest landmass, the first nation in hockey, and the best part of North America. My name is Joe, and I am Canadian.
That gets you pumped up. Okay, so now that we all remember that one, so apparently 25 years later now, since that first commercial aired, the same guy who played Joe there, the Canadian, his name is Jeff Douglas. Yes, he has made a new video, a follow-up, a continuation of this series. But instead of I Am Canadian, he's called it We Are Canadian. And this is what I want to take a look at. Because obviously in, this today, it's never been kind of more, I don't know, on the forefront of our minds. And, I don't know, just such a hot topic to really, well, for one thing, to really be Canadian and how that feels right now. And of course, the relationship between the United States and Canada is in turmoil. And there's never been a more appropriate time for him to come out and do this little follow-up. So I'm excited for this.
Hey, I know it's in our nature to cut a guy some slack, give him the benefit of the doubt, like maybe he was confused or just joking or just maybe really needed a double-double.
Oh boy, I think I know who I think I know who he's talking about. I think I know. This is awesome. Get him a double-double. All right.
But this isn't that guy. These aren't those people, and those are not the Rockies. They make a lot of mistakes.
Really? Like he didn't even have the right picture?
People, and those are not the Rockies.
He didn't even have the right picture of the Rocky Mountains? Jeez.
They make a lot of mistakes. They mistake our modesty for meekness, our kindness for consent, our nation for another star on their flag, and our love of a hot, cheesy poutine with their love of a hot, cheesy Putin.
No way. No way. That's awesome. That's amazing. That is great. Oh my, I mean, it's not, Putin is not great, but the joke. Poutine for Canada, Putin for America. Whoo! That's funny. And I was not expecting that. Nor him to be shirtless riding a horse. Yeah, man, this is good. And he's really touching on a lot of the what's happening right now. This is really good. What is he talking about? He's been talking about, of course, Trump's just maniacal, weird, strange, crazy obsession with Canada becoming the 51st state, which I know is offensive to Canada and really me. And I think there's a lot of Americans out there just wish he would kind of drop that because it's really stupid and just kind of pissing everyone off. And then you got to make a commercial about it. And then recently, of course, as you might have heard in the news very recently, in the White House, the meeting between Trump and Zelensky completely went off the rails. Zelensky was kicked out of the White House, sent back to Ukraine, just for having the audacity to ask for military security and aid for a literal war rampaging his country. And a lot of people are definitely making the criticism that Trump is very critical of Zelensky in Ukraine, very critical, while not sharing that same viewpoint, not having that same critical outlook on Russia, the country that is doing the invading, that is waging literal war, killing people from Ukraine. Make it make sense. I don't know. It just doesn't. But this is a funny joke.
Hot, cheesy poutine with their love of a hot, cheesy Putin. They think they can bully us, threaten us, and push us around. But they do not know us. That artificially drawn line they keep talking about, not artificial, and it's not on a map. It's right here. This is the land that Terry ran, the land that Gord sang about.
Oh, wow.
This is the birthplace of peanut butter and ketchup chips.
Is it? Did Canada invent peanut butter? Wait a minute. I like that. Everything else in this montage is like, okay, yeah, whatever. Then it's like, peanut butter? Peanut butter? Canada made peanut butter? What? This is very good. Yeah. I think more Americans should check this out. Just talking about a lot of Americans just don't know what it means to, don't understand Canadian culture, don't understand what it means to be Canadian. As an American, I can never truly understand, but I feel like I, put my finger on the pulse of at least the internet and try to do the best I can to find out. Yeah, I think really, yeah, it's nice to see a video that's really, what am I trying to say? Attacking or confronting this idea of the U.S. annexing or taking in Canada and just absorbing it into the United States. I like that this is just really a response to that stupidity and also hilarious, powerful. It's not just a joke of this commercial is not even just a joke either. It's actually quite serious and, I don't know, making me feel something, pumped up.
Sang about this is the birthplace of peanut butter and ketchup chips and yoga pants. It is the land of universal
Yeah.
healthcare and the
Yeah.
engineering brawl of innovation and optimism and getting her done. This is the land of the peacekeeper and the Shawinigan handshake.
What?
Are we perfect?
What does that mean? I'm sorry, I hate to ruin the flow of this video, because he's on a roll. Yeah, this is building. But Shawinigan handshake, what are they doing? Why is he doing that? What does that mean? Okay, let's go.
Are we perfect? No, but we are not the 51st anything. We are the first to unite in a crisis, the first to build bridges, not walls, and the first to stand on guard for thee. My name is Jeff, and we are Canadian.
Wow!
Thank you.
Oh my God. 25 years later, same guy. I think he used his real name, Jeff. He is Jeff, and he did what a fantastic performance. I don't even think he had to dig that deep within his Canadian soul to put on this performance, because I feel like he really meant this, and he did such a good job of making it exactly the same sort of feel as the original commercial, but with a modern twist and addressing all these modern issues and how Canadians are feeling, and this is just great. I totally get why so many of you guys were recommending this to me. So cool. Such a great message. I think more Americans need to hear this exact message, actually, because this is a short video. It's only like 1 minute and 40 seconds. So in such a short amount of time, he really managed to say a lot about what Canadians are really feeling. So real quick, I know there was one more video. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but since, we're talking about this guy, Jeff Douglas, right? That's his name? Did an interview about being the guy in this commercial, kind of representing being a voice of Canada.
25 years ago, I was the Molson Canadian guy, and that commercial changed my life.
Yeah, man. So I want to skip across to this part. It's talking about Canadian pride.
Year 2000, the feeling of Canadian pride was really high in this country. I got to see that firsthand. I got to see that openness, I guess, of Canadians. It was a remarkable thing to...
Canadian pride was really high in 2000? Like specifically the year 2000? What happened? What was happening exactly in 2000? Or does he mean in the 2000s?
To see that no matter how far apart we may be and how different culturally we may be, that at the end of the day, we are still so very, very similar. 2025 is a very different context than 2000.
Yeah.
And I think that what we're seeing right now is that when someone outside of the country starts to take...
I get distracted by the most random Canadianisms. I can't... and I feel a need to point it out because it's just funny. Maybe you guys enjoy it. He just said the most Canadian oat. He took me out of this by when he said outside instead of outside, like how Americans say it. Anyway, what a Canadian. How he said that word.
When someone outside of the country starts to take aim at us, we can close ranks very quickly.
Yeah.
And that sense of identity and pride and love of this place and love of our neighbor comes right back to the fore.
Yeah. And I've seen so much of that. I've done quite a few videos on that topic. Canadians' response to all this stuff happening, response to the United States, tariffs, 51st state talk, all that stuff. The response from Canadians has been incredible.
The first nation of hockey and the best part of North America. My name is Joe.
Did he say the best part of North America? Wow. That bold, Canada. But I like to I've said this before. I don't mind that because in America, Americans were so prideful and proud, bordering on egotistical about American pride and patriotism, where nonstop my whole life I've heard how America is the best. So I don't mind if when Canada does that and is like, best place in North America. It's like, okay, fair play, Canada.
It's interesting that before I did this commercial, I had never really thought too much about being Canadian or patriotism,
Sure.
what Canada was. I ended up working for History Television and going into parts of this country in the West Kootenays or Churchill, Manitoba, Norway House, Manitoba, Joa Haven
Wow.
in Iqaluit, places that most Canadians never get to see.
So when he did this commercial, has that just been his career mostly, or does he work for the Molson Beer Company, or because he said this all changed his life? I just wonder what he's been doing the last 25 years. Honestly, I'm just curious.
Meeting the people there, interacting with the people there, staying with the people in those places. Then I came to CBC and ended up having conversations with people across the country and around the world. And this has always led me to consider and reconsider and reevaluate who we are, or
Sure.
at least from my point of view, who we are and what we stand for as a country.
Yeah.
And it is interesting for someone who lived the first 27 or 28 years of their life without really thinking about it. What a profound love I've come to have.
Maybe that's like a result of good times. He's saying he lived 28 years of his life without even really considering what it means to be Canadian to him, or maybe that just means that everything was so great and good and cool. It's like there's nothing to really be introspective about and think deeply on. Now it's like there's so much turmoil and chaos in this world that's making people think. And it's definitely making him think, which is a good thing. Not, not that the chaos and turmoil is good. That's not. But the response to it and like he's saying, the introspection, that's all a good sort of byproduct, I guess.
For this country, not even so much for the country, because the country is sort of a weird esoteric notion for me, but for the people of this country. I know we have been far from perfect, and I know our past has been problematic and violent.
Ha! It's funny to hear that from Canadians because I only know the American history, and God, our past has been problematic. I'm just gonna skip around here, just so. Not that his words are not valuable, but I want to keep this video, not going on forever. So I'm just gonna skip a little bit to the end here, see what he has to say in summary.
It's someone else who's in it, but I also have to just shake my head and go, Joe, man, they can't kill Joe. Joe will not die.
Joe, the character in the commercial.
Although he is getting a little older looking, get a few more wrinkles and white hairs.
Okay, so Joe, that's the takeaway. Joe, Canada will not die. And I definitely think this video he made, We Are Canadian, the follow-up, was such a wonderful way to keep that alive and really give it a whole new life. And really give a message and a voice for Canadians in this really cool kind of way. So I thought this was awesome. I really enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like, or leave a comment. If you're Canadian and you have any thoughts about all this, feel free to leave a comment. That'd be awesome to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and learning about Canadian culture, seeing Canadian things I've never seen, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.